Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Darren. Hopefully you're enjoying the new transmog that I'll be rocking on the PTR. They're allowing people to test the PvE gear, so I'll be rocking this set. I wish they would add the elite version. Anyway, today we got some updates to Subtlety and Assassination out of all the specs for PvP in particular. Oh, happy days, happy days. Alright, let's take a look at all the changes that are happening. We'll start with Subtlety and some big changes for Assassination to finish it off. But Subtlety is actually getting a few minor changes. The first one in particular is about Master of Shadows. Anyway, we're going to take a look at the build. You have a couple of different abilities. One of them is Master of Shadows getting changed. Now it used to read that you gain a certain amount of energy as soon as you activated stealth, but now it says that you gain 25 energy over 3 seconds. This is actually good, and while I guess it is a bit less energy than it used to give you, compared to, let's say, Alive right now, how much energy it gives you now, means that you're able to use Shadow Dance and Stealth, kind of anticipating the fact that you're going to be again energy regen. So it wasn't like you had to make sure that your energy up until a certain point and then you would use Shadow Dance in order to gain it back with Master Shadows. Now you gain it over time, so you can kind of use it at the very beginning, right? Shadow Dance, and then you just gain energy, and you can continue doing a rotation and it'll start feeding you back energy. So this talent becomes a little bit stronger. I believe it gives you less energy now, but still I like this change. The next is Shadows Focus, which is right here. Now they made it so for Assassination and Subtlety, I guess they changed it for that it has a different text. So now it's built to cost 25 less energy while Stealth or Shadow Dance is active. They're starting to separate Shadow Dance to make sure that they are understandably different abilities to cover what covers within Shadow Dance or Stealth. And that's really a grammatical change. So that's actually not a lot of a change. Same happening with Soothe in Darkness. You heal 3% of your maximum health every 1 second, while Stealth or Shadow Dance is active. So I guess it's a good thing that they're changing it up. They also made a change to Thieves Bargain. One of the changes they made to the artifact weapon of Subtlety Rogues is this right here. Flickering Shadows. So before, it used to be that you would use Sprint, and then after 4 seconds of Sprint without getting in combat, it would insta vanish you. I guess Blizzard felt it was a little too strong for PvE or PvP purposes. I'm pretty sure this are mostly PvE purposes now, no matter. But one of the things that changed is they made it so that Vanish now has a shorter cooldown. So reduce the cooldown sprint by 10 and Vanish by 30 seconds. So Vanish is a 1.5 minute cooldown, which is awesome. And I believe that was kind of the norm for Subtlety. I was pretty sure the Vanish was already 1.5 minute cooldown. But they also changed it for PvP. Because with Thieves Bargain, the idea is once you get into PvP, you actually have a 15-second Vanish. Wouldn't that be a little bit too strong? Well, they nerfed it. They nerfed it fairly quick. So now when you do have Thieves Bargain available, your Vanish basically becomes back to 30 seconds how it has been on the live servers. I actually think it would have been kind of cool to have a Subtlety where you just vanish, right? You just open up on your target, maybe get a cheap shot, maybe a Shadow Strike in there, Nightblade, get another cheap shot in there, backstab, eviscerate, you know, all the jazz, all right, all the basic jazz, get a single eviscerate, and then bam, vanish away, and have it be done at 15 seconds interval. But I guess 30 seconds makes it a little bit more balanced. I still think that we should take away at least the aspect of the fact that you lose a lot of health. I actually would have been fine if Vanish was like a 15-second cooldown, because you have so much less health than you would compared to other classes when you take these bargains. So I feel like you're just kind of falling behind in it a little bit too much. But maybe with a new recent build, the damage increase might be worth it with all the Dark Shadows and Master Subtlety and DFA. Oh, this is going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, another change has been done for Shadow Strike. Shadow Strike deals 30% damage increase and will teleport you to target. What they took away is while out of combat. So now it's part of while in stealth is active. Now the question is, does it work when Shadow Dance is active? So stealth teleports me. No, doesn't teleport. How about Shadow Dance? Shadow Dance is available? No, it doesn't teleport. So you actually have to have stealth available. Maybe that's where they're separating stealth and Shadow Dance a little bit. So you can use this out of stealth. So that kind of sucks. It used to be able to that you could use Shadow Dance while out of combat. So if you were out of combat out of the enemy, you could still use Shadow Strike. I believe, did they add any buffs for it? Or no, I don't think it's, no, they didn't add anything for it. All right, so it now works only while stealth is active, but it awards 2 combo points now. Does Shadow Strike at all times not award 2 combo points now? Whoa, did they change this? Hold on, I'm not even running what is it? Where is this talent? They removed that too, didn't they? Enveloped Shadows? No. Master Subtlety? No. Wait. What is my premeditation? Did they remove premed? Hello? When did that happen? Hold on. Now it's always a 2 combo point ability? That is wicked. That is wicked crazy. Alright, so premeditation is gone. I'm not sure what happened. Enveloped Shadows here. Alacrity here. Dark Shadow here. Completely understandable. But what happened to premeditation? I thought that was one of the abilities that people would run. Oh! Mark for Death, Master Shadows, and Death from Above now, isn't it? I was pretty sure, did they not have alacrity before? I thought it was maybe, okay, one of these abilities definitely was gone and something came back to the table. And I'm not sure exactly what happened, but premeditation is gone, but this is now always awards to combo points. Well, this makes it a lot easier for a lot of subtlety rogues to decide which kind of build they want to be running for their abilities now. They also made Shuriken Storm a little bit stronger. They actually buffed its damage to be, I believe it's 120% of our attack power instead of 75. Basic Shuriken Storm itself, when you run up to enemy targets like this one right here, and you're Shuriken Storming them, that damage has been increased. What they also did is decrease how much damage you get while Shadow's Dance or Stealth is active, so the burst in this capability isn't quite there. This is actually good for subtlety rogues because I feel like they've been kind of suffering within PvE in terms of being more convenient. The damage increase, or the flat damage increase for Shuriken Storm allows you to maybe use it as a baseline ability without having to worry too hard about just how much damage you're going to be dealing out or the lack thereof, and always having to combo it together with Shadow Dance, especially with the fact that you won't be using Shadow Dance quite as often with some of these other talents. Now let's move on to Assassination, which are exciting. We actually got cool changes. One of the things that I want to introduce you guys is we have a removal of a poison. You see deadly poison? I know there's wound poison and how there's crippling poison, but guess what's gone? Agonizing poison is gone, replaced with toxic blade, and this ability is exciting. This ability is basically a little bit of a, I don't remember exactly which ability ADDONS for. I believe the kind of it's an ode slightly from this ability right here. Stab your enemy with a toxic blade for 269 nature damage. The critical strike chance of your nature damage abilities against the target is increased by 40% for 8 seconds. So this is something cool that you can kind of combo together into a burst or into a burst rotation. So I thought this is an awesome change. I'm not sure how this ability is going to fit with the rest of the tree. I don't know if Sanguinate is going to be that much better for PvE or PvP. I feel like Toxic Blade was just basically replacing an ability that has already been good. But now they're going away from Deadly Poison, and they want to keep Deadly Brew as, or Deadly Poison. They're moving away from Agonizing Poison, and want Deadly Poison to be part of your baseline rotation, and part of your baseline abilities and identification as an Assassination Rogue. But this is an interesting ability. Toxic Blade. Stab your enemy with a Toxic Blade, dealing decent amount of nature damage. Let's actually see just how much it hits for. Bam! Ooh, that was a lot of hits. Wow, Toxic Blade hits hard. And while that's available, you can deal a lot more crit damage with all your nature-based abilities. So that is awesome. This basically increases your crit capability, and this works really well with Unfair Advantage for Assassination. Let me actually catch your advantage real quick and set up some of these talents. Another thing they added for Assassination is Phantomized damage has been overall flat increased. So that is awesome. Now the damage is a little bit higher, and I'm pretty sure this is mostly for PvE purposes more than anything, if I can find Phantomize. But this does help out PvP a little bit, because I've been running with the talent of Flying Daggers, and being able to deal slightly more damage to enemies, especially with a bigger radius for Flying Daggers, or for Phantom Knives. It makes the ability a lot more pleasant to use, and a lot more viable in some cases. So this is crazy. Toxic Blade only lasts for 8 seconds, has a pretty short cooldown. It used to have an effect written before that cooldown is reduced by half a second each time you apply lethal poison, and would have a pretty long cooldown, but I guess they removed that condition altogether, so you can use it for PvP, whether you're long range or far away from enemy. It also works with a combo point, so that is awesome. 25 seconds and 25 energy, I think it's pretty reasonable for the fact that Assassination already outputs like 55 per mutilate, and I see like your only combo point builder besides Garrote, which is 45. So this is an awesome change, and can probably go into some kind of a cool burst rotation. Plus you can combo together with your Kingsbane and your Vendetta. So let's just try this up, man. Let's just try this, right? Let's just try open it on target like we normally would. Bam! Now let's get a poison in there. Let's get all that other damage. Let's go for them mutilates, man. Mutilates back to back to back. Let's get for a kidney shot. Just how much damage can we do in a single burst into somebody? And I like these numbers, man. I like these numbers. So what we're seeing is a hell of a lot more damage from Kingsbane. We're seeing a lot of deadly poison damage spiking ahead of Garrote and everything else. So that is awesome. And Toxic Blade on its own dealt for about 350k worth of damage. Of course, it's going to be scaled differently when it comes to PvP, but you can kind of see where the damage charts are at and kind of how far everything would be. And this is just on a single target. The fact that deadly poison is dealing this much on a single target, I guess in PvE is not really all that incredible, but for PvP that'd be so much cooler. Any kind of buffs or any kind of changes to Assassination is good news, especially on the PvP front. I feel like with Assassination and with all 3 rogue specs, one of the things that is plaguing rogues in particular is the fact that when you're not investing all your AP into a specific weapon, and you, let's say you want to go play an off spec, you're just gonna have a miserable time. Right now, as a reason, I've been having a lot of hard time just enjoying Assassination or even finding a viable build for it. Because I'm not really putting AP into it. I'm trying to get Outlaw Rogues done, and I'm trying to get Concordance of Legionfall, which apparently procs in PvP, which I think is ridiculous in the first place. And then I'm going to start investing points into Assassination just so I can see the real, true core damage of Assassination Rogue. But I had a PvP Jizzle on my rogue, and I was able to break 1,000,000 a couple times, but in specific situations where AoE, and I was able to cleave a lot of targets in multi-dot. But this kind of change is actually really, really good. Because it, first of all, not only does it kind of flip the script on the table for PvE, it also offers more opportunities and more different playstyles for PvP. But what this enables Assassination Rogues to do is to combo even a stronger burst because of the talents you select. Right now, and currently in the game, if you do go for Agonizing Poison for PvP, you better hope there's nobody to cleanse off your cast. With Toxic Blade, I don't think you can take it off. I think it's a physical attack. I think it's a physical effect, so let's actually try it. Yes, it is a physical attack, so 40% chance being critical hit by Rogue's nature damage while being cast. Oh man, this is so good. This is basically what we needed. A physical effect that cannot be taken off. And what else do the enemies gonna cleanse? Are they gonna cleanse your creeping venom? Are they gonna cleanse your healing wound, wound poison, or deadly poison? I don't think cleansing deadly poison is as bad as cleansing agonizing poison, which you have to stack for so damn long. So this is awesome. But this basically enables Assassination Rogue, especially for PvP, to be a little bit more liberal in terms of what abilities they want to use and play around with a lot more abilities. And maybe it'll allow us to really just have a good talent that fills in for both PvE and PvP, because this I can see myself using in both PvE and PvP. This is a lot better than Exsanguinate because, let's be honest, Exsanguinate doesn't increase the damage of it bleeds. I think it'd be cool if it did. And Alacrity is kind of really passive and just takes a while to stack. Great for arenas, but it was kind of like a placeholder because Agonizing Poison just was so easy to cleanse by any class that has a poison cleanse, and it's a lot of your damage that you're losing. Anyway guys, this has been it for me. Thank you guys all so much for watching and checking out the video. This has been everything that's been added into the game so far. But I'm pretty excited with the Assassination Rogue changes, man. I feel like Assassination Rogue just needed a little bit more of a freshen up when it comes to PvP. Just a lot more abilities and not just all about the Rupture, Garrote. Okay, now I'm gonna wait for a while until they eventually die. Alright, maintain Rupture, maintain Garrote. Alright, wait for a while until they die. That has a little bit more excitement and another buff for enemies to, or debuff for enemies to watch out for when they get bursted on. And maybe this will be enough to actually have some surprise with the damage compared to the predictable damage that Assassination kind of sort of puts out currently. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see all of you guys in another video.